Before we start, please like and subscribe. You know, there's nothing quite like waking up after a good night's sleep feeling refreshed, energized, and ready to take on the day. But let's be honest, how often does that actually happen after 60? If you're like so many of us, you might toss and turn, wake up with aches, or just never quite feel as rested as you'd like. And here's the thing, it might not just be about how much sleep you're getting, but how you're sleeping. That's right. Sleeping wrong after 60 can lead to more than just groggy mornings. It can affect your mood, your memory, even your long-term health. But don't worry, today, we're going to talk about what happens when your sleep habits aren't quite right, and most importantly, what you can do about it. Because you deserve to wake up feeling your best, no matter your age. Now, let's start with something you might not even realize is affecting your sleep. Your position. If you've been sleeping the same way for decades, your body might be telling you it's time for a change. Take back sleepers, for example. It might feel comfortable to lie flat on your back, but as we get older, that can actually make snoring worse or even contribute to sleep apnea. And if you're dealing with acid reflux, lying flat can make that nighttime heartburn creep up, stealing precious hours of rest. Then there's stomach sleeping, which, let's face it, isn't doing your neck or back any favors. Twisting your head to the side all night can leave you with stiffness and pain by morning. So what's the best position? For most of us, side sleeping, especially on your left side, can help with circulation, reduce snoring, and even aid digestion. But here's the key, it's not just about how you sleep, but what you're sleeping on. An old, saga mattress or a flat pillow might be undoing all your efforts. If you've had the same mattress for over 10 years, it might be time to give it a second thought. And while we're on the topic of sleep setup, let's talk about something else that could be sabotaging your rest: light. You might not realize it, but even a small amount of light creeping into your room can interfere with your sleep quality. As we age, our bodies become more sensitive to disruptions in our natural sleep-wake cycle, and artificial light, whether from a street lamp outside, a blinking alarm clock, or even the glow of a TV, can trick your brain into thinking it's time to be awake. So what can you do? Start by making your bedroom as dark as possible. Blackout curtains are a great investment, or even a simple sleep mask can make a big difference. And here's another little tip. Try winding down with soft, warm lighting in the evening instead of bright overhead lights. It sends a signal to your brain that it's time to relax, making it easier to drift off when you finally hit the pillow. Now, these might seem like small changes, but when it comes to sleep, the little things add up. And the best part? You don't have to overhaul your entire routine overnight. Just picking one or two adjustments to start with can make a world of difference. But we're just scratching the surface here. Because sleeping wrong after 60 isn't just about how you sleep. It's also about when you sleep, what you do before bed, and even the hidden habits you might not realize are keeping you up at night. And that's exactly what we'll dive into next. You know, sometimes the biggest hurdles to a good night's sleep aren't the obvious ones. It's not just about whether you're tossing and turning, it's about what's happening before you even get into bed. Think about your evenings for a moment. What does that last hour or two before sleep look like? Are you scrolling through your phone, watching a thrilling crime drama, or maybe finishing off a big meal? If so, your body might be getting all the wrong signals when what it really needs is a gentle nudge toward rest. Let's talk about timing, because when you sleep matters just as much as how you sleep. Our bodies thrive on rhythm, especially as we get older. You've probably heard of the circadian rhythm, that internal clock that tells us when to wake and when to wind down. Well, after 60, that clock can get a little finicky. Maybe you find yourself wide awake at 4 a.m. or struggling to keep your eyes open right after dinner. It's frustrating, but it's not just random. It's your body responding to subtle cues throughout the day. One of the biggest culprits? Late night eating. Now, I'm not saying you need to skip your evening cup of tea or that little snack you enjoy, But heavy meals right before bed can lead to indigestion, acid reflux, or even blood sugar spikes that wake you up later. Try finishing dinner at least 2 to 3 hours before bedtime, and if you need a little something before sleep, keep it light. Maybe a small handful of nuts or a banana, which actually contains magnesium, a natural muscle relaxant. And here's another timing tip. Consistency is key. Going to bed and waking up at roughly the same time every day, yes, even on weekends, helps regulate that internal clock. You might think sleeping in on Saturday will catch you up, but it can actually throw off your rhythm for days. Instead, if you're feeling tired, consider a short afternoon nap, just 20 to 30 minutes, to recharge without disrupting your nighttime sleep. Now, let's talk about something that's become a huge part of our lives but might be secretly stealing our sleep. Screens. That little device in your hand or the TV across the room emits something called blue light, which tricks your brain into thinking it's still daytime. Even if you feel relaxed while watching TV or checking emails, your brain is getting mixed signals, making it harder to drift off later. So what's the fix? Try giving yourself a screen sunset at least an hour before bed. Put the phone away, turn off the TV, and let your mind unwind the old-fashioned way. Read a book, a real one, not an e-reader. Listen to calming music, or even try a few minutes of gentle stretching. If you must use your phone, see if it has a night mode that reduces blue light. But really, your best bet is to just step away. You might be surprised how much more easily sleep comes when you give your brain a proper break from the digital world. And while we're on the topic of winding down, let's not forget about stress. Worries have a way of creeping in at night, don't they? Lying in bed with your mind racing over bills, family, or that thing you forgot to do earlier can make sleep feel impossible. But here's a little trick. Try parking those thoughts earlier in the evening. Spend 10 minutes after dinner writing down anything on your mind. Tasks, concerns, even random thoughts. Getting them out of your head and onto paper can free up mental space for relaxation when it's time for bed. These changes might feel small, but together, they create a ripple effect. Better evenings lead to better nights, which lead to brighter mornings. And the best part? You don't have to do it all at once. Maybe this week, you focus on moving dinner a little earlier, and next week, you experiment with turning off screens sooner. Small steps still move you forward. But we're not done yet, because there's more to uncover about how daily habits, your bedroom environment, and even the way you breathe at night could be shaping your sleep. You know, sometimes the things we do for comfort are the very things robbing us of deep, restorative sleep, especially after 60. Take that cozy evening glass of wine, for example. It might feel like it's helping you unwind, but here's the truth no one talks about. Alcohol may help you fall asleep faster, but it actually wrecks the quality of your sleep later in the night. Your body spends those precious hours processing the alcohol instead of cycling through the deep, healing stages of sleep you truly need. And suddenly, you're wide awake at 3 a.m., wondering why you feel so exhausted despite being asleep for hours. This is what I call fake sleep, when you're technically unconscious but not getting the real restoration your body craves. And it's not just alcohol. Certain medications, that extra cup of coffee in the afternoon, or even drinking too much water right before bed, midnight bathroom trips, can all contribute to this frustrating cycle. Now, I'm not saying you have to give up your evening rituals completely. Life's too short for that. But small tweaks can make a big difference. If you enjoy a drink in the evening, try having it earlier, with dinner instead of right before bed. Swap that late afternoon coffee for decaf or a soothing herbal tea like chamomile. And if you're on medications that might affect sleep, have an open conversation with your doctor. Sometimes adjusting the timing can help without changing the prescription itself. Here's something else that might surprise you. Temperature plays a huge role in sleep quality as we age. Many of us keep our bedrooms too warm because we think it's cozy, but science shows we actually sleep best in a slightly cool environment. around 65 degrees Fahrenheit, 18 degrees Celsius. Why? Because our core body temperature naturally drops to initiate sleep, and a cooler room supports that process. If you're waking up sweaty or kicking off the covers constantly, your room might be working against you. A simple fix? Try lowering your thermostat just a degree or two tonight. Use breathable cotton sheets instead of heavy synthetics. If your feet get cold, a common complaint, wear socks to bed. It sounds counterintuitive, but warm feet actually help regulate your overall body temperature. Little adjustments like these can help you stay comfortably asleep instead of wrestling with blankets all night. Now, let's talk about something we rarely consider until it becomes a problem. Breathing during sleep. Snoring isn't just annoying for your partner. It can be a red flag for sleep apnea, a condition where breathing repeatedly stops and starts during the night. And here's the scary part. Many people over 60 have mild sleep apnea without even realizing it. They just assume waking up tired is normal aging. But morning headaches, daytime fatigue, or feeling like you never quite slept enough, those could be subtle signs your body isn't getting enough oxygen at night. The good news? Solutions exist, and they don't always mean bulky machines. Sometimes, simply sleeping on your side, remember part 1, or elevating your head slightly can help. If you suspect sleep apnea, a simple at-home test ordered by your doctor can give answers. Addressing this isn't just about better sleep, it's about protecting your heart, brain, and overall health in the long run. I want to pause here and share something personal. A few years back, I spoke to a lovely woman named Margaret who'd struggled with exhaustion for decades. She'd accepted it as her new normal after 60, until her daughter insisted she get checked for sleep apnea. Turns out, she was waking up dozens of times each night without remembering it. With treatment, she told me it felt like coming out of a fog she didn't even know was there. That's the power of paying attention to what happens when we sleep. So tonight, try this. Before you drift off, take one mindful breath and ask yourself, is my bedroom helping or hurting my sleep? Then listen, not just with your ears, but with your body. The clues are there. And the best part? Once you start noticing, you can start changing. Because here's what I've learned. Sleep after 60 isn't about chasing perfection. It's about removing the obstacles that keep your body from doing what it naturally wants to do. Rest, repair, and renew. There's a quiet truth about getting older that no one really prepares you for. The way sleep becomes less of a given and more of a negotiation. When we were younger, we could fall asleep anywhere. On a couch, in a car, even sitting up straight in a chair. But now it feels like we need the stars to align just right to get a truly good night's rest. And if we're being honest, that shift can feel frustrating, even lonely sometimes. But here's what I've come to realize. The changes in our sleep aren't just random annoyances. They're messages. Our body's way of asking us to pay attention in ways we maybe didn't have to before. Think about it. When you wake up with an ache in your shoulder, it's not just about the pillow being wrong. It's your body saying, we need more support now. When you find yourself staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m., it's not just being a light sleeper. It might be your mind asking, have we processed today's worries yet? This is where sleep becomes about more than just rest. It becomes about listening. Really listening. Because after 60, sleep isn't just a pause in your day. It's an active restoration, a nightly reset that prepares you for whatever comes next. And that means the solutions aren't just about what happens at bedtime. They're about how we live our days. Take movement, for example. You might think, I'm tired, I should rest more. But sometimes, the real key to better sleep is moving more during the day, not less. Gentle activities like walking, stretching, or even gardening help regulate your body's natural rhythms. They tire your muscles in a healthy way, release tension, and signal to your brain that there's a clear difference between day and night. The trick is finding what feels good for you. Not what some fitness guru says you should do. Maybe it's a short walk after breakfast or 10 minutes of chair yoga before dinner. Consistency matters more than intensity. And then there's sunlight, nature's original sleep aid. Getting natural light in the morning, even for just 15 minutes, helps reset your internal clock. It tells your body, this is daytime, be awake now so we can sleep later. So many of us spend our days indoors under artificial light, then wonder why we feel off at bedtime. Try this tomorrow. Step outside with your morning coffee, or sit by a sunny window while you read the paper. It's a small act with profound effects. But perhaps the most overlooked connection between our days and our sleep is this: purpose. Have you ever noticed how you sleep better after a day where you felt truly engaged? Whether that was working on a project, spending time with loved ones, or even helping someone out. There's science behind this. When we feel purposeful during the day, our brains produce more of the neurotransmitters that help regulate healthy sleep cycles. Conversely, days that feel empty or monotonous can lead to restless nights. This doesn't mean you need to fill every moment with activity. Quite the opposite. It's about quality, not quantity. Maybe it's calling a friend you've been meaning to catch up with, volunteering for a cause you care about, or finally starting that hobby you've put off for years. These aren't just ways to pass the time. They're investments in your nighttime rest. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, but what about the nights when everything's right and sleep still won't come? Here's where we need to talk about one of the hardest but most important lessons of sleep after 60. Sometimes, the best thing you can do is stop trying so hard to sleep. The more we stress about not sleeping, the more elusive sleep becomes. It's like trying to force yourself to sneeze. The effort itself becomes the obstacle. If you've been lying awake for more than 20 minutes, get up. Go to another room and do something quiet and calming. Read a book, listen to soft music, even fold some laundry, nothing too stimulating. The goal isn't to make yourself tired. It's to break the cycle of frustration. Your bed should be associated with sleep, not with tossing and turning. This simple shift can work wonders over time. All of this brings us to a deeper realization. Sleeping well after 60 isn't just about fixing problems. It's about realigning with your body's wisdom. The same way you've learned to adjust other parts of your life with age and experience, sleep asks for that same gentle adaptation. Not fighting what's changed, but working with it. And that's where we'll take our final steps together. Because understanding is one thing, but putting it all into practice is where real transformation happens. You know, there's a beautiful rhythm to life after 60. A slower, more intentional pace where we finally give ourselves permission to prioritize what truly matters. And somewhere near the top of that list, the simple, profound gift of waking up feeling truly rested. Not just got through the night, but alive, refreshed, ready to embrace the day. That's not some far-off dream. It's absolutely within your reach, starting tonight. Let's bring everything together in a way that feels doable, not overwhelming. Think of this not as a strict set of rules, but as an invitation, a loving nudge to your future self who deserves better sleep. First, remember that sleep isn't an isolated event. It's the natural result of how you've spent your entire day. Those morning sunlight walks, the mindful winding down in the evening, the small adjustments to your sleep environment, they're all connected like pearls on a string. Miss one or two, and the strand still holds. Here's what I want you to try tonight. The 3-breath reset. Before you even get into bed, stand beside it and take 3 slow, deep breaths. With the first breath, let go of the day's tensions, shoulders dropping, jaw unclenching. With the second breath, thank your body for all it carried you through today. With the third breath, set a quiet intention. Tonight, I rest deeply. Then climb into bed like you're entering a sacred space, because you are. And if you wake during the night, try the 5-5-5 method. 5 seconds to notice where you are. Bedroom, safe, comfortable. 5 seconds to feel your body against the mattress. Weight, warmth, support. 5 seconds of the gentlest smile. Yes, really, because even this wakeful moment is part of being beautifully human. This isn't about perfection. Some nights will still be harder than others. That's life. But now you're equipped with understanding. Why your sleep position matters, how light and temperature play their roles, why daytime habits ripple into the night. Most importantly, you now know that sleep challenges after 60 aren't personal failures. They're puzzles waiting to be solved with patience and self-knowledge. I'd love to hear what changes made the biggest difference for you. Maybe it was switching to side sleeping, adjusting your dinner timing, or simply giving yourself permission to get up and read when sleep wouldn't come. Your experiences matter, because somewhere, someone else is struggling with the same challenge and needs to hear your story. So leave a comment below. What one sleep tip would you pass on to a friend? If this series resonated with you, consider hitting that like button. It helps others find this information too. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to this channel. We'll keep exploring ways to make these later years your most vibrant ones. Because here's the truth. How you sleep shapes how you live. And you've got too much living left to do to settle for restless nights. So tonight, as you prepare for bed, remember this isn't about getting older. It's about getting wiser. Wiser about your body, your needs, and your incredible capacity for renewal. One good night's sleep at a time. Here's to your health, your rest, and the joyful mornings ahead. Sweet dreams, my friend. You've earned them.